Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Baring, and I am a digital art teacher. And I may be your teacher, but I may not be your teacher, but I am here to run through lesson plan with you of 6.4.1 to help you with your grade improvement. So today we're going to be working on 6.4.1, and that is Art for a Cause poster. And I'm just going to show you how I did my poster, and hopefully you can just kind of follow along and get your poster done really quickly as well. So let me share my screen. All right. All right, great. So here we are. This is the lesson plan, and this is an example that ADO gives you for the poster that you're going to make. So these posters are art for a cause, which means that you're going to be kind of like an art activist. So in the lesson plan, there are quite a few examples of what you could choose as an activist to make your artwork about. So you can go into 6.4.1 and check it out and see. This poster is about saving the bees, but there are so many other global and resources that are depleting that you could be an activist for, or geopolitical causes like protection of geopolitical borders, illegal immigration, protection of rights of refugees, mass displacement, and some other topics that fall under this category, or social political causes like education and health politics and the economy, human rights, gender equality. Socio-political causes include, but are not limited to LGBTQIA plus rights and the rights for equal pay, right for fair education and freedom of speech and expression, or cultural causes like advocacy for the rights of cultural minorities, the right to practice traditions, freedom of religion and spiritual practices, preservation of ethnical cultures, or animal rights. I actually chose water and air pollution because I thought it would be really easy. So the first thing I did was I went to do a Google search, and I searched what are some slogans for water and air pollution. And I got a bunch of slogans that I stuck with. One that I really liked was called pollution, tree is the solution. So this is actually the poster that I made in Krita, and I'm just going to run through really quickly and show you how I made it. So first thing that you want to think about is that there are 4 elements that have to be in your poster in order to get a 100. And I kind of made them over here. You need a background. I made 4 layers in Krita that each layer is one of the elements, just to make sure that I got it all. So background is one of the elements. Then your core message is another one. Your primary graphics are the other one. And then the last one is your secondary text. So let me show you how to change the name on a layer. So I'm going to unlock the layer, and then I'm going to double click on the name, and you see it becomes highlighted. And then I'm going to type in there secondary text. And that's just so that I remember to get all those things. So let me open up a new document. And so this is what you'll be doing too. You could go under File and then New. You want to go under Predefined and choose A4 300 PPI. That's 300 pixels per inch. And then make sure that you are on this allocation of alignment. That is the portrait position, and then say Create. And then Krita will give you a blank slate. So I always like to see all of my edges. So I click on the magnifying glass. It has a little plus sign under it, meaning if you click, it's going to make what you're viewing larger. But if you hold down the control tab, it changes the plus sign to a minus sign, and then you can see all of your edges. So I'm going to work on, I already have the background layer there. So we have one paint layer that I am going to call the primary graphics. Right? And then we have a layer where you're going to put text. So we need a vector layer. So the way to get a vector layer for text is this little arrowhead that points down next to the plus sign. Just click on that, choose vector layer. And now I'm going to call this layer by clicking on it twice, the core message, because we need that. And then one more vector layer for your secondary message. All right. So I know my background is going to be black, so I'm going to lock all the other layers except for the black background. I'm going to choose this marquee tool over here. It's the square with the dotted lines, and I'm just going to draw a box all over my background, and then I'm going to fill it with black because I know that I want my background black. So there is the black swatch up there. I'm going to take the paint bucket and I'm just going to click in there and it will fill with black. Now to get rid of the marching lines, I can go select and then deselect, and that gets rid of those marching lines. So I made some clouds. So I'm going to show you how I made the clouds, and you can use this idea to make almost any shapes that you want. So I'm going to give myself another layer and I'm going to call it clouds for now, just to keep everything kind of organized. I'll jump back to show you. This is the cloud up here that I'm going to show you how I made that very easily. So all I did was I took this marquee tool right there, or you could use this guy as well. So if you're going to use that guy, you just want to make sure that you change. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. So that is the color that I'm going to use for the outline. I'm grabbing this marquee tool and I'm just going to make a bunch of circles, edit, stroke with foreground color with, I'm going to see what 30 looks like. Okay, I like 30. So now I'm going to make another one and I'm going to stroke it with the same thing. And now I'm going to make another one. So this is kind of like just a preliminary idea of how I made the clouds, right? So I'll just do one more right here. Edit, stroke the selection. Okay, so now I have kind of like a cloud, right, with all these circles, but I want to get rid of the circles inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all the lines inside so that I'm just left with this outside shape. So you can kind of use this idea for whenever you're trying to build something, just break it down into shapes and use all the shape tools. That way you don't have to do a lot of drawing. So this is the Bezier curve selection tool. So I'm just going to click on the edge and then drag it over. And then when I click again, I can pull a little handle out like that and make a selection. And then um, if I have erase selected here, up here in this little drop down menu, then I can just hit enter and it will erase it. And then I can do that on the other side. So I'm back on the Bezier curve tool. I'm going to just click there and then I'm going to come up here and then I'm just going to make that curve, make a shape and delete. Now I can move around to the next place where there's intersection. I'm going to click and then drag a little handle out like that. and delete. And I'll do it on the other side. Oops. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. I'll use it. I want it to hand so that I can move around to the next one. And I'm just going to clean these up really quickly so we can move on to the next thing. And you don't have to be perfect at these, right? Because we're all just learning. So that's really the only important thing, is that your project shows that you tried. And then I think this is the last one. All right, let me take a look at what this looks like. I'm going to use this little slider, scale slider here. Now I can just go in and select everything in the center and delete it. And then I pretty much have a little cloud. So that was like pretty easy to draw. And in order to get it to be kind of sideways, all I did was click on this scale tool over in the toolbox. It looks like a square with little dots around it. And then you can grab onto a handle and move it around. So that's how I, whoops, that's how I was able to resize that to and put it in the corner like that. So I'll just go back to my original and show you. That's how I made that cloud in there in the corner. And now the water that I made, I just used the same tool and I clicked off of my canvas, and then I made a little curve, and then I just made another curve and another little curve and another little curve and another little curve. And then I just went on the outside and clicked them all together. And then I gave it the same stroke as the, you just have to make sure that you are not on erase, that you're on normal. That is something I forget to do all the time. So edit, stroke selection, and everything is set up the same as I had it for the clouds. So there it is. So I'm going to deselect, and there's our first wave. So now it's on this layer here. So I could, my clouds are on there too, but I could just, to make more, just duplicate that layer. So what I'm doing is I'm just right clicking on the layer and then selecting duplicate. So now I can just kind of like pull them apart. So I have two clouds there, which I'm not so sure that I want. So maybe I'll just take the one cloud and delete it. Oops. I gotta lock all the others. All right, so make sure that you're on erase and delete. There we go, I got rid of it. So now I can go to each of these layers and move the duplicate around. Here's another one, right? So I can make a bunch of waves. I can even not have the waves lined up if I want, right? So I'm gonna get rid of that cloud there by just hovering over it. I'm on the right layer, so nothing else will get deleted except what's on that layer. So that is how I made the clouds and the water for my original one. Now I got the idea from Pollution Tree is the solution from a website, and I just kind of stole it. So all I did was So now I have my clouds and my water the way that I want them. So I'm going to unlock them all and I'm going to put them all on the same layer. So I'm right clicking on the layer and saying merge with the layer below, right clicking, merge with the layer below, right clicking, merge with the layer below, right clicking, merge with the layer below. And now everything on my background is exactly the way it should be. So my core message is pollution, pollution, tree is the solution. So I'm on that layer. Make sure you unlock it. I'm going to use the text tool. So select the text tool in the toolbox, it's the big letter T, and draw a text box. Then you will get a floating text editing menu. So I just type in pollution, pollution, tree is the solution, right? So it's typed in there. It's just a dark gray, so you can't see it. I think I made it a green color that was already on here. So I'm just going to choose any green color and I'm going to hit save. So there it is up there. It's really tiny. So I have to change the size. So I'm going to change it to 48 and see what that looks like. So that looks pretty good. I think I put it on 2 lines. So I'm just going to come and delete the spaces and return it to the next line and save. So that's my my core statement. For my tree, I drew it just the same way that I did the clouds, except I just used a rectangle for the trunk. And then I came up with another slogan. This is the secondary text, plant a tree today and watch our planet grow. I just thought of that. You can make up something for yours, right? And then I actually went to a website. I went to a website and I typed in plant a tree foundation. I just typed that in just to see what would come up. And that's not what I was expecting to come up. So hold on a second. And this One Tree Planet website came up. So there's their logo right there. So all I did was I took a snippet of their logo and I saved it by clicking on this little save button here. And I saved it. And then after I was finished saving it, I just imported it into my file right here. So that's how I did this whole thing. It was very easy. And I hope that you are able to use what I just described to you to help you do your Art for a Cause poster. Again, all you have to do is make sure you have a background layer, your core message, a primary graphic, which is my tree, and a secondary text at the bottom. And make sure that you are following the outline in Edio. Use their sample. You can click on this hotspot. This is on page 4 in 6.4.1. And after you're done, make sure you save your file as your name, 6.4.1. Upload your file into Edio and get an A+. All right, thank you so much.